Wait. Have you guys seen Tiger King? Yeah. No, but have you seen like any of the interviews since when they're like, can you please tell me why you did an interview with the scariest guy in the show in a bath? And no one even caught on that the interview was in a bath.
They caught on, but it's like no one even questioned it.
Because it was so fucked up.
The one dude has no shirt on the entire time, which I caught on to first round.
Right.
I was like, why the fuck does this guy look like my cook with one tooth? And
Whoa. Whoa.
Welcome to the Wedding Crashers Podcast.
So no, seriously, hey, like, I have so many questions about how you guys got started and, you know, working together and all that kind of stuff. So why don't you start from the beginning? How'd you get into weddings or photography or videography?
Well, I started when I was fairly young, like really young. And it's kind of weird, but I've actually been taking pictures with a real camera since I was about 11.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, I don't think it's like it sounds kind of corny, but I don't think it's like the norm. Like most people, you know, start later on or whatever. But my grandfather and my father both were on different sides of the family, were both into photography and gave me a camera. I think it was like 11 or 12 when I started, and I have all these self-portraits, all these still lifes, and all these pictures of my sister modeling when I was like really young.
Not slides, projector slides.
Yeah, like I have all these different pictures of like my sister when she was like 7, like model. Like now they would actually probably be flagged on Facebook. It was wearing like a training bra. I mean, I don't even know. Like she had like Cabbage Patch leaves on her boobies and stuff. Like it was weird.
My God.
But it's kind of funny because I've always been really into it. And
so
then,
it'd either be flagged or you'd be selling workshops. One of the two.
Yeah. Oh
whoa, that was a deep burn.
Here's the bus, and there's that person. Yep, got it.
Let's not go there.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're doing right now.
It happened in here, and then it just...
Moving on. So, yeah, so then I think I was like 18 and jaded, and I had no idea what I wanted to do, and thought that I needed to do something more professional, because I'm old. I'm 40, so back then, more professional definitely didn't mean like art. You
are not 40. I would have said like 28 max.
Yeah, you would have said that. But
you're almost as old as Ted.
A lot. So, so I think I don't know. I think I had to like break it it was almost like coming out. Like, and I don't, by the way, want to equate coming out at all to this because I don't want anyone to get the wrong impression that I'm equating it. But it was like a hard thing to say to my parents that I'm an artist. I want to go to school for art because my brother had already been there, done that. And he had a really bad experience. He went to Philly for art as well. He went to
He went to the Art Institute. Philly circa like late 80s, early 90s.
92.
So it was.
He had a hard time
back then.
He had a really hard time. He had a really hard time with his roommate. He had a really hard time in general. And so my parents were like, screw this. We're not having another kid go to art school. And I begged them. And then my dad basically drove me through the darkest part of Philadelphia, under the L, the blue line, from the furthest out of Philly that you can get all the way into Center City.
So you guys are in the Jersey side. Like if you come from north, there's a way to get into Philly that goes right through like where the tires are burning down the roads.
Oh my God.
And your dad pretty much drove her through there.
He's smoking a cigar, driving me on the truck, in the truck, like, here, this is what you want. This is how you want to be. And I'm like, Dad, I'm already accepted into Drexel. Like, what are you trying to do to me? I basically, the entire way, I don't know what he was expecting. Like, did he want me just to come home? Maybe he was scared. He didn't want me to go there. I don't know, whatever. So rough road through college. College was very difficult for me as far as like, you know, just trying to like be an artist in general, I think is really hard, especially at a technical school. So, had a really hard time.
Did you end up majoring in art?
So I majored in photography with a minor of, I'm trying to remember now, photojournalism.
Okay, cool.
I don't know why that was so hard to remember, but it could be the one. And then went from there to nothing, did nothing with it, met this guy, and basically fell off the...
Well, you were still in school and you were still definitely working at your craft. Like you still used to do photo shoots.
It's too personal. I had a lot of personal stuff happen when I was in Philly that I don't want to get into, but it was a really dark time for me, and artist, dark time, city was like weird, and met him during that time. Yeah. He kind of helped me through a lot of it. We also kind of were destructive because we drank a lot and we had a lot of fun.
I was a bad influence.
He definitely was, but I was already kind of there. And then, and you were at that point, you were out of the Art Institute, right? Yeah. And you minored in, or majored in film and graphic design, right?
I went for, it was called multimedia. So it was like everything. It was like video, photography, graphic design, like a little bit of everything.
Yeah. So long story short, like to skip forward, he ended up buying his grandmother's house, which is where we are right now. And we bought our house when I was 23 and he was 27.
That's incredible.
It kind of is because we just paid off our mortgage last year. So awesome. It's kind of crazy. Like we just had this very strange like series of events that have happened to us in our life that have sort of created this really great avenue for what we do.
That's awesome.
And it was a struggle.
Getting into the wedding thing is kind of like the juicy part though, because it was kind of like a bad experience that kickstarted us or Jen into it first. Because our wedding photographer, who will go nameless, was awful.
Who isn't really a wedding photographer, I don't think.
And
he'll go nameless because he is nameless.
We were kind of like, we could do this. We could do better.
We got our wedding photos, and Colin, at the time, they came on 8 CDs.
I just saw them today, actually.
I don't even know how to load them. 8, yeah. I'm pretty sure they're loaded like in million places, but that's how much we love them. So we got them, and I said, how are they? And Colin's like,
there's a few good ones in there.
I think that you probably could have done better. And I was like, oh my God. And, you know, we didn't pay him nothing. We paid him over $2,000, I think.
Oh shit.
Wow.
That's like, I don't know, there's people right now that are charging $2,000 to shoot a wedding. And it was disappointing, but also like a jump start. Like we were like, okay, we can do this. And if I look back at the weddings I did that year when I decided to do it, they are horrific. Like murder scenes. I would equate looking at like the worst experience of your life as to looking at those photos. Like no offense to any of my people that I shot their wedding that year, but oh my God, they're terrible.
We should do that. We should go back and look at all of the photos we took from like the very first year.
I murder somebody if you dig up my old videos.
Oh my God. Tell them that I used to do.
That would be fun.
That would be a lot of fun. I'm ready. I'm already looking up my.
We got to call it like Cold Case Files or something like that because these murders have gone unsolved.
We could call it the I'm Sorry weddings.
Oh, what can we call it? Cold negatives.
Something like that. That's too funny. I look at some of my stuff from 2 years ago and I'm like, I can't watch this. I can't believe I gave it to someone.
I remember one of our first wedding films that Mike and I did together. We that like wasn't for family, and I sent it to a friend of mine who was a director of operations at like a wedding farm company, and the response we got back was, "Hey, so did you like mean to cut all their heads off, or was that like whatever?" And I was like, fuck that. What are they talking about? This shit's gold. This is amazing. I was like, I obviously didn't talk like that. I'm not a total douchebag, but I was like, fuck. I got like really offended. I was like, fuck that. Like, because it's so personal. You're like, oh man, I can't believe we did this. It's like one of our first weddings. And like, they're like, nah, this sucks. Don't do that.
I think that's like the weirdest thing that's happened to me in the last couple of years is that like nothing is personal anymore.
Right.
Like, and not in a bad way. I just don't care. Like
some people are though. Some people are.
Well, some people hit a nerve, but like if most of the time if people say like, oh, I don't like this, I know right away it's not because of what we're doing.
Right.
Is that do you think it's
they don't like about themselves or, you know, and I'll just like, I'll fix it, whatever you want.
Is it that you don't care? Or do you think it's just that I feel like it's more that like through time, it's almost like your confidence goes up. Like you understand the product you make and why it's awesome. And if they don't like it, it's like, well, it's just not for you. Like, you think it's more of that?
To iron that out before they hire us.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know, like we're pretty blunt. Like I've actually tried to steer people away that I think are horrible. I'm like, while we're on the phone, I'm like, yeah, you don't want to hire us because
we don't book a ton of weddings a year.
We don't like high maintenance, and we wouldn't fit. We wouldn't be a good fit. No,
yeah, there's a personality thing there though, definitely. Like there's ones that I've been nervous to shoot and have ended up being fine. But it's rare that I'm like going in and I'm like confident that it's going to be fine, that it turns the other way, right? That's pretty rare.
I think that's like that's the weird thing about what we do is like we can go in a ton of times. We go in and we're like, these guys are amazing, and then we get to the wedding and they're complete shitheads to us that day. And then opposite happens where people are complete shitheads leading up, and then the day of and after they're amazing.
Yep.
So you do have to have sort of a thick skin to go. And I think it's just what Mike said was, is it confidence? Yeah, but it's also just like letting go and just being like, I can't control all your emotions. I can't control how you look. I can't control every lighting scenario throughout the day.
We should try to make all these amazing things happen, and then sometimes by the end of the night, you can just tell like they don't feel like doing that. So we're like kind of document what's going on.
That's a big thing that like we've kind of noticed, and like I've seen as a videographer, you get to see a lot of other photographers work, and like it's funny. So like I know far less videographers than I know photographers because you never work with them. But what's that?
They don't talk a lot.
Right. No, it's just like, you know, if you're doing video, you're not working with other videographers, so you don't know that many. But like, I get to see all these other people work, and there's times where after you've done like 10 wedding seasons, you go, hey man, they're fucking done. Like, stop trying to pull them out for another round of portraits. Like, you can just kind of tell. It's like, nope, it's okay. You just frame it. You ask and frame it to them in a way that says, hey, you know, I'd like to get, you know, one more set of portraits. But if they go no, you're like, no problem. It's okay. And you
I think I think a lot of that speaks to like your shooting style too. And I've learned that over the years. And I think we've worked with Mike and Ted so many times now that like, I think they've probably seen the progression, maybe more Mike, because I think we worked with Mike a couple of years ago, like maybe 5 years ago now, Mike.
Yeah.
2015, I think.
And Ted's been more in the last 2-3 years.
All the way back to that, to the tropical depression or whatever that was we did in flooded Cape May.
Oh.
Remember those days? Where
yeah.
or anything, and wow.
Give them flashbacks to Grenada.
No, that was great.
But I think like
Hurricane Joaquin.
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was rough. Yeah. But I think what I was trying to say was like that people get really, they take on your stress too. So if you act stressed or you act hype, they're gonna take that on. So it's a good thing to be energetic, but it's like I've learned over the years that like you don't need to be the center of the energy. Like let their day play out of the center of the energy, and then this way they're more likely to kind of fall into doing all these cool things later and, you know, relaxed. Because if they get tired of it and it's too much, then it just kind of goes at the end of the day, you know?
It's so interesting that you brought that up. It's something I've asked a question about pretty recently, and it's I was looking at this new venue, or not really. It's like kind of like Wedding Wire in the Knot. It's called Zola, and they have a different way of bringing people in or filtering people out. And one of the sliders that you kind of have to put yourself in is when you're making your profile is your personality as a photographer, and there's a couple choices. It's like laid back, works from like a loose shot list, but like goes with the flow, or, you know, works from a specific shot list and over directs. And I'm like, I don't know how to answer this. So for me, it's like, well, it depends on the day.
Right.
Depends on the people. It depends on the day.
Right. So like on some days, I'm going to fucking let it go if they're posing very, very naturally on their own and I can like do little stuff. I'm not going to go too crazy. And if we get stuff really well, if the day's going really well, awesome. If the the bride and groom are very quiet and their families will overbearing, like, yeah, I'm going to step up and direct and say, hey, get here. You know, I can do either. It really depends on the day. But I'm wondering, like, would you be able to put yourself in one of those categories, or are you kind of all over the place too?
No, I think
I know exactly where we are.
I just think we hold ourselves to whatever the day however it develops, you know, whoever the people are and how their personalities are.
We feed off of their energy and we take notice of where they're at, and we know our boundaries and we know our limits.
That's a really hard question too, right? Because most photographers are both. It depends on the time of day. Like during family formals, they're going to be a little more strict, and then laid back the rest of the day. That's a weird question.
I talk to F-bomb in my photos too.
We definitely try to keep a schedule going all day long. So we're definitely, you know.
Yeah.
I would like to talk about that. So I've worked with you guys a couple of times and several times, and I've noticed some really strengths you guys have are really huge as far as how you balance the timeline with getting pictures that you guys know are important for the day and making the bride and groom happy or the couple happy. Like, you're really masterful at that. So like Jen, I've seen you like kind of pick your battles with things. Like some things like, look, we're 45 minutes late. If you don't want to do this, that's totally fine. And like, you'll give in to like them, you know, going and having a nap for a while or whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
Other parts of the day, you're like, hey, this is really important. Like, I want you guys to be happy, but we didn't get any of this stuff yet. And I've seen you like kind of like be really tactful of when you want to like hold your ground and when you want to say, no, just go do what you want, have fun. I think you guys do a good job of that, where the customers still feel like they're in control the entire day, but you're kind of guiding them to make sure they get everything that's important to them.
You know what that is? It's funny because, well, thank you, but also what that is learning from mistakes over the years of letting something go, and then later on they're like, where is that? And you're like, well, we didn't do that because there was no time for it. So now I just say, hey, we've got 10 minutes. Do you want to do that thing that you want to do, or do you want to do this thing that I want to do, or do you just want to go and chill? And I give them the choice right then and there, because then it's on them.
Right. Ted,
then,
you've had issues with that, right?
Tell me about it later. You know, like.
Yeah. Right.
I mean,
that's stuff I've seen people take different approaches with. Leanna, our friend, has a certain thing. A survey she sends out. Leanna Teresa Photography. She sends out a survey at the end of the year to say like, hey, what do you wish was in your photography? I know Ted's had people say like, hey, I don't want that. And then years later go, well, I wanted that, and give him crap about it. It's like, we all go through that kind of thing. And I remember one person that came on the podcast used the word advocate. I think it was Jenna Linda Hart. She used the word advocate. And I think if your priority is, it can't be too specific, but the priority has to be like you want your client to be happy, right? But not just happy today, happy with the product, happy with their wedding, happy with the memories of their wedding going forward. So it's like, hey, I'm not just going to let them go and not do portraits because they're, they want to go hang out right now. I'm going to say, hey, I want you to be really happy with the product you got, and I want you to have a good time today. Let's get these portraits. We'll bang it out real quick, and we'll let you go do what you want to do. So that you're balancing both. And if the happiness is the priority, I feel like that's kind of what you guys are talking about.
Yeah. So my mom was a midwife, and
awesome.
My mom delivered both of my children.
That's amazing.
And she also had me have a doula, and a doula is basically, and a midwife. So I had her and a doula. So I basically had two people that were advocating for me throughout the day, when, you're mentally there, but you're not. And so when I approach a wedding, it's weird, but I actually think of that very much in the same similar like state of mind. These women are off their effing rocker that day. They have so much going on. I've been there. I was one. I know what it's like. You're not really thinking for yourself. You're trying to please other people. You're trying to make decisions that feel good in the moment. So you really do have to be like that person for your client that day that knows what they want. That's what we've sent out the questionnaire, and we have them fill it out, and we try to meet their expectations as best we can throughout the day with the information that they gave us.
I love that analogy. My wife's a labor and delivery doula, and it's like the cool. So you know what doula translates to in Greek? It's doula is to serve, right? So you're serving the client, right? When you take that approach, right? It's such a cool concept, right? Is like, what can I do to make sure that your happiness is not just now, your focus is on that, it's going forward. That's such a
I've seen so many
great analogy.
I've seen so many people just try to, do what makes them happy as a photographer in the moment. Even second photographers that have shot for me, and it makes me so uncomfortable because I'm like, we can't. This isn't about us,
right? The shot's not more important than the client.
I mean, and there are times where you have to push, and I mean, there have been times where I've said to my seconds, like, I don't know why they hired us because they're not letting me push them at all. But at the same time, those same people have never said a bad word about us because we read their energy that day.
Yeah, and they appreciate the experience at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think that says something about you guys as a company, as a photographer and a videographer, because I was going to bring up Fearless at some point. You've won a bunch of Fearless awards, right? And you're an award-winning photographer, yet you still know that the shot is not more important than the couple, right? You're still prioritizing that.
Fearless, not because it's honestly because I don't remember to enter, but also because I just, I don't know. I was actually finding myself trying to make it Fearless images. It's like, I don't know.
You're not the first person to say that, not about Fearless, but about awards in general, that they got in like this, not a lull, but where like they were so fixed on winning awards that they would sometimes do things that they would never have done, like on a wedding day, in a bad way.
Bad thing. That's not a bad thing. And I never found it a bad thing to want to push yourself, like, to win an award. Like, that's a good thing.
Right.
People make movies that win huge awards, and they make this incredible movie because they want to win the award, and vice versa. They want to make the movie. Like, it all goes hand in hand. It's fine. I don't have a problem with it. I just find that the whole awards thing at this, especially Fearless, and God, I hope no one hears this from Fearless. I just find it to be a little corrupt. And, well, I do. I find that it's the same people constantly winning, and there's just so many talented people out there, and there's so many people doing really new things that are entering, and I just find it to be the same type of shots, the same type of editing, the same type of this, the same type of that, over and over, and I got a little bored with it. So I was like, I kind of knew the recipe to what it takes to win, and that's annoying. I don't think that's what it should be about. I just think it should be about really great moments, especially. I mean, of course, portraits are awesome, like really cool portraits, but really good moments are really hard to come by, and especially in New Jersey.
Yeah. You know what's funny about that? That also ties into being published, right? Like it's the same exact photos that get published over and over and over, which are kind of the opposite of the Fearless Awards. It's more the light and airy stuff, but it's like they don't show, a majority of what's out there. They only show this very small niche of style of photography.
It's funny. Mike and I talk about this all the time. And I bring it up to him. I said, there's amazing wedding photographers out there that we don't know about, that have no real online presence, who don't want to teach, don't want to do any of that stuff. And I always talk back to this guy. As a musician, I've taken lessons from a ton of amazing people. But this one guy stands out. His name's Jeffrey Mirnoff. He's played on every major album that's ever been recorded in Manhattan. He's like the #1 studio guitarist that's ever lived. He's been on every major hit, but he's a studio guitarist. He's not a leading act. He's not his own thing. You would never know him unless you opened a CD or an album and looked at the titles, right? And I said to him, I was in high school, I'm taking lessons from him, guitar lessons from him. I said, I have a competition this weekend. He's like, what do you mean a competition? I said, it's a jazz competition with our jazz ensemble. We're going there, and it's a whole band, and we're gonna get judged. And he's like, and he started laughing. I said, what's funny? He's like, the idea of judging art, the idea of having a competition for art is just laughable to me because it's so objective. And that really stuck with me. That stuck with me forever. And that's not to downplay awards. They have one, they have an amazing place in business. Two, they have,
subjective.
What I say, objective or subjective? Isn't art objective or subjective? You might be subjective. You might be right.
Anyway, my personal feelings is subjective.
What's objective? You have to look at both.
Objective is like a mission.
I'm a word snob, guys.
Okay, well, look up both. If you're gonna do it, you gotta look up both. Look up objective.
Oh my god.
There's objective truths. Okay. Anyway,
this is live.
You're right. You're right. By the way, it's subjective. Anyway, so art is subjective. But the point is, you know, that's not to downplay any of this stuff because we've talked about it a bunch of times.
The point is,
go ahead. I didn't hear you. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it shouldn't be judged because art is
subjective.
It's something that's based off of only the way you look at it. So, I mean, that being said,
everything is a business.
Right.
Absolutely. Why there's those kind of places that judge art to get advertising money and.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think once it becomes a business, it's like it falls out into that weird realm of not just art.
I guess my whole issue with the judging, right, is that it's not a critique. It's not like, maybe you could have done this better, or you could have lit this a little differently, or you could have moved here. It's just like, here you go.
Yeah.
And I don't think that helps anybody because when we see these images that are basically the same images over and over and over again, like how many times do we have to see someone flying through the air, like a bride being thrown in the air? Like if I see one more of this, and you know what's funny is I've never took that shot in my life, and I've been doing this for 10 years.
I felt that way with video. Like I've gotten into the I felt like things were routine, and I just kept doing the same things over and over every wedding, and like I had to break out of that.
Brides in New Jersey don't even want to fucking move, let alone get thrown in the air.
Because those beaded dresses are heavy as shit.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's like, depends on where you are, where you live, where you shoot. I always joke around that we should have a Fearless in New Jersey because I feel like it's a completely different ball game or ballroom.
Ooh, nice. That was nice. Nice pun. Do you feel good about that joke?
I do because
all right, that was good. It was good.
It's subjective though. So.
Oh, nice.
Bringing it back.
All right, I'm gonna see you guys later. No, that's awesome. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It's it's a weird thing to judge art, but at the same time, like Mike said, and like you said, Colin, it is a business, and that's what I was saying. Like, Mike has said this time and time again. Let people feel not feel. It's not about feeling good about it, but like, dude, the wedding wire and not awards. Fucking, do we give a shit about it? Does another photographer care about it? No. Does a client care about it? Maybe. Fuck it, put it on there.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
No, my standing up for that is I hate when the whatever you want to call it, the cool kids, when they jump on the newcomers, when they win their first wedding wire award and they're so excited and then they have to kill that party. And you're like, dude, stop being so grumpy.
Right.
Leave them alone.
Because clients do give a shit, though, when they see the knot or wedding wire. Those are big names, right? They go, oh, shit. Okay, cool. It just legitimizes it.
But also when you are first starting out and you don't have a lot of referrals, it is a big deal to you.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I'm here, guys. I'm here to protect the little people that keep getting beat up. Okay.
All right, Iron Man, calm the fuck down.
Out one of your teeth.
Are there Yelp awards?
I'm not John Finlay. Leave me alone.
You just took one away. Just one. One of the front ones, he'd be spot on.
He only had one front one.
Only had one. You need to block all of them out.
And shirtless.
I'm going to get pink camo for the next one. It'll be good.
Please take a minute to go do that. That will be good.
I feel fucking bad for that dude. Honestly, like you look at his other interviews, he's like, I feel like I came out pretty good, which is true. But like, dude, that guy, he's got like a family now, he's got a wife now. He's like, he's done his thing. And it's like to be caught up in these fucking assholes that he got away from.
They say like department, they're like, and then he knocked up the girl at the front desk, and we were like, ooh.
Get it, dude.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Joe Exotic wasn't bad.
Joey Exotic actually looked pretty good comparatively.
Mike, you just need a little rat's tail. That's all you need.
Did he have a rat tail?
Ted. He does. He has like their hairstyles are great.
Guys, it's getting weird because they.
Fucking do it. Yo, you want to be on TikTok? Just cut some of your hair off.
Yeah, with a cutting board and a machete.
Dude, I shit you not. My niece FaceTimed my wife this morning, and we're talking, and she's like, oh, yeah, I cut my bangs myself this morning. And we're like, why? And she's like, oh, this girl on TikTok did it. This like super famous girl's got 50 million followers on TikTok. Cut her own bangs. She's like, so I did it. Because my friend said, hey, look, this person did it. I'm like,
not cool.
Holy shit. It didn't look good. She's like, yeah, it looks terrible. I was like, you said that? Okay, that's fine.
We were talking about giving some quarantine haircuts to the kids.
I did it.
My wife did it.
Rationally talking about it.
Yeah.
I did it. It worked out well, I think.
It's tough to do. I swore. So I got 2 stories for you right now. So I swore to my wife. I said, you will never cut our son's hair. You are not a professional. You're not doing it. Because my mom cut my hair for the first, I can tell you exactly 8 years of my life.
Let's preface it though. Tommy lives in a mansion. It's
Shut
a quaint
the fuck up.
5,700 square foot house.
No.
He's got butlers.
Listen.
He can afford
5,600. Okay. No, it's not. It's not. No, stop. So
My mother's grave.
let me explain. It's not because of any of that.
He pays someone to fold his laundry.
My mom gave me a fucking bowl cut every year. Every time she cut my hair for the first 8 years of my life, I had a fucking bowl cut until she sliced into my fucking ear with scissors.
Whoa, that's crazy.
That's how I got it to stop. She cut into my fucking ear, and I go, "Did you just cut my ear?" She's like, "No." I go, "There's blood all over my animals, passed out." Anyway, so I said, we're not doing that to our boys. They're gonna go. I got made fun of for the haircut and shit. I'm like, we're going to a barbershop. They get their haircut. It'll be good. Because of this, we had to look it up. My wife did a great job. She had, she had to buzz their hair and stuff like that. So today, after like that happened, I'm getting ready for this podcast. I'm like, I'm gonna shave my head because it had grown out a little bit, and I'm trimming my beard with scissors, and I went like this, and I fucking snapped it down on my earlobe. The scissors went whap, and I stopped. I must have stopped like just in time for it not to slice through. But I was like, oh,
I had a very similar accident.
Oh, shook. Oh shit! Look at that. I can't see it that well. I don't know what I'm looking at, but that was my official response.
My mom was cutting my hair.
Dude, I went like this, and I was like, boom.
I haven't talked to her since.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I never forgave her for that.
We talked about that two podcast episodes ago. My mom didn't talk to me for a month and a half because I sent her a TikTok video.
Can you show them it?
No.
Can you show them it? Bring it back.
I don't think I have it.
Now you got to remember, his mom does not have the personality to watch this video, so it's hilarious.
Not at all. She talks to me now. She finally unblocked my number. Let me see if I can pull it up. Dude, she fucking blocked my number. I'm not joking.
Gotcha.
It's crazy.
You're not joking.
No, I swear to God. She blocked my fucking number. I couldn't believe it. And she's hilarious. Gonna love that I told her I told this story too. She got all mad.
You've told it on 2 episodes. So
2 episodes now. Yep. So let me see.
This is 3.
No, you're bringing it back up.
This is amazing. Let me see if I can find this video. And I think we showed the video at least once.
Twice. We just don't show the I blur it and do some stuff.
I don't know if I can find it, man.
That's fine. We don't have to. We can move on.
No, can we? Oh wait, no, I'm gonna find it. Right.
Can your mother?
No.
No.
Bringing it back to photography.
Nope.
I had a question for you.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I
Come on,
did.
Tom. We'll figure this out.
Ted, is that your Nikon shirt?
It is. It's my Nikon
Feel good
shirt.
about it.
Do you still wish they gave you a backup?
They gave me a yellow Nikon one.
Is the center of the Z a 1 for 1 card slot?
No, it's for number 1, the best.
I don't think so. I think
we had to get there.
I'll even give Canon that one. I think Canon has number 1 the best.
Canon doesn't have a dual card slot until this new one, though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This new camera makes them fucking way up there.
Are they dual SD cards?
No.
What are you guys talking about?
Dual card slots and cameras.
Canon's new mirrorless.
Come say hi.
Hi.
They announced it yesterday or something.
Oh no, man! As soon as I open this beer, I can tell it's skunked. What's up, dude?
What's up?
Pickle face.
What? Pickle face?
Nice.
That's amazing. Good for you. It's like Pickle Rick.
Pickle Rick.
Called the pickle face.
So you watch Rick and Morty?
Eat a really sour pickle. You're like,
love it.
That's
all right. Wait. I had my wife do it. She merged the photos together.
Send it. I want to see it, and then you can post it.
Oh wait, amazing. Can I share it in the podcast right now?
You should be able to.
You should absolutely do it.
Wait, how far did she have to dig back to get that picture?
Is that him?
I found it on your profile picture.
No, it's me with his face.
Is that his face?
Wait, that doesn't look like him.
No,
though.
you got to do his face with the 1 teeth. Tell her to do a better job.
Do it the other way around.
This still looks like.
We want to see the teeth.
I want to see less fucking teeth, Amy.
That was a bad picture to choose.
All right, so
They want you to do it better. All right, here you go.
Is that somehow Mike and Ted?
No,
That's Mike's face.
Mike and John Finley?
That's just this. That's just that guy.
It's just Mike's eyes. That's all it is. Mike's
It
eyes.
is? Oh my God.
It's unreal. You can't even tell. It's straight up him.
What picture did she get the eyes from? That's pretty awesome.
Picture, that same picture from you with the light blue shirt holding Bella.
That's
fuck?
unfucking real.
That's awesome.
No.
Mike, I'm gonna punch your fucking teeth out just to make you. I want to hang out with John Finley.
Mike's picture.
I told you.
Next time we see each other, he's gonna be like, "Hey, what's up, Tommy?" I'm gonna fucking brass knuckles his teeth. Boom.
Your faces all day, bitch. I knew you.
No,
Sorry.
those teeth take a long time to rot out.
You're his handsome twin. Can't
Dude,
help it.
he's got some fame right now. You should apparently Walmart is where it's at. So you go to Walmart dressed up like John Finley. You're fucking
Get you
golden.
some pink camo.
You gotta hand out cards like, "Hey, I started a wedding videography business. You should totally like hire me."
John Finley.
I would never do that.
John Finley weddingvideography.com.
We put the stripe back in tigers.
That guy is awesome. What?
Put the stripe back in tigers. That's pretty funny.
Hey, so I got a question.
Oh wait, I have a question.
No, shut up. So we talked about how you got into wedding photography and wedding videography. So did you start together or did you start just in photography or like how did that go down with you, Colin?
Jen just started with the photography first, and I was kind of
And video.
What? Oh yeah, and video. Yeah, Jen was doing photo and video herself.
No shit.
No second shooter. All in one day.
It's
somehow.
hilarious.
I bet that was great.
Yeah. And again, don't dig those up. There's somewhere on the internet. I don't know where.
It's so funny to think about.
But I guess like around 2013, 14ish, she was like, "You could probably do this," because I was already doing video for things, but I didn't realize like what wedding videography was at that time. Like I didn't realize it was artistic, and I just was picturing the guy on the tripod, which we still see sometimes in the corner, filming everything. But
My wedding.
what? Like who?
That was my wedding. That's how it went down. It wasn't just tripod though. It had wheels.
Well, of course, yeah.
I'm sure.
How are you supposed to get around? Yeah, we saw one recently. They're still out there.
It's amazing.
What are they?
Unicorn.
No.
That's something else. That's definitely something else.
Are they Lithuanian?
It was an ethnic wedding.
Albanian.
I don't remember. So Jen talked me into doing it, and I kind of liked it. So we kept going with it.
I really had to talk you into it.
Yeah, it was scary. I mean, I still get butterflies, so it's not like I was never not scared of it, but I think after kind of getting solid second shooter base is like definitely what solidified everything and really grounded me.
Yeah, that's something that I don't want to say is underrated, but people feel like, oh, I don't know. There's photographers I know. My aunt is one of them. She's an incredible family portrait photographer up in North Jersey, Highland Park, so real North Jersey. She's like really, really talented, absolutely incredible. Like the thought of doing a wedding to her is fucking like, nope, absolutely not. That's terrifying. Like it's so much less control, I feel like, until you know what you're doing, then you can kind of, how to manipulate the day and all that kind of stuff. It's a scary premise to get into, even if you know what you're doing with, actually taking photos, actually taking videos and stuff like that.
Yeah, I assisted with Jen for a while before I second shot for her, but like it was all really like scary to me. It's just there's a lot of moving parts and there's a lot going on. I mean, it's still kind of scary, but like through experience, I guess.
Yeah, there's not really a situation that we can't handle.
Yeah.
We've had some crazy stuff happen at weddings.
I think Mike was the second shooter I've ever had, ever.
Really?
Second shooter?
The second shooter ever. Yeah.
Oh man.
And I had a really shitty experience with the first.
And the second.
No. Like you kind of changed the whole like perspective for me on it, and it was great because like the second shooter aspect of it is something that definitely needs to get talked about, because when you have a solid second shooter that you know somebody has your back, you know they're doing whatever they're doing and they're doing what you need them to be doing while you're doing something else, you can kind of open up your mind and be a little bit more creative. But that was definitely Mike, and Mike was chill as fuck, by the way.
Also, Mike time travels.
Yeah, he's a ninja.
What?
He's been doing that since GNC. I think it was all the.
Every time I set up a shot and then I turn around, Mike's like right behind me. I'm like, what the hell?
How did you get here?
Back up.
Sorry.
Hey, I have a question for you, and actually, well, both you guys. So when I started doing video with Mike and Tommy, yeah,
Damn it! I'm trying to put Jen's face on Joe Exotic, and it's not working.
Pop the biceps when you go too.
Please.
So,
I didn't want you to think I was not interested in this talk. I was just working really hard.
No, we thought you and Mike, or you and Ted were both on fucking Craigslist.
Oh
God. So when I first started doing video with Mike and Tommy, it was a big change from doing photo for me. I had to relearn a lot of things. Some things were very applicable from photo over, and some things were not. One of the things that I really had to kind of grasp was there's definitely different sections that are, this is not a creative part of the day. You are going to do this shot. It's going to be a safe shot. You're going to get the same exact thing every time. This part of the day, you can be, doing videos. Like this part of the day, you can be creative. So on the photo side of things, though, that wasn't really the case. You can basically be creative pretty much all the time. Like even on the most boring, monotonous part of a long ceremony at a church, like I can be crouching between two people that have like weird hairstyles and try to shoot through this hole in their hair to get the bride and groom in the background. Like there's always different ways to be creative at different things. So I guess what I'm asking is, because I feel like you're really good, both you guys are really good at this. How do you go about turning off the one side of the brain that's like the safe side of things, that's always this like things you're going to get the same way every time, and then switching over to the creative, like candid moments where you don't know what's going to happen, but you're going to try to be ready for it to happen at any moment. Like, how do you guys switch back and forth between that? Like, what's your game plan for that mentally?
For me, it's the second shooter. If I have a second shooter that I know has that safe shot, has got it locked down, then it kind of opens me up to be a little more creative. I mean, that's for me, that's what it comes down to. I don't know if that's different for you or.
Yeah, my brain doesn't shut off. So there's no, like, I never shut down anything because and that's kind of what makes me frazzled and crazy on the wedding day, but it's also kind of what makes me good, I think. I don't shut that part down ever. So I'm always trying to do both, multitask both. So what I try to do in situations where I know I have to be safe and I have to be, I have to make sure I get it, is that I have two cameras on, and the one is a safe and the other one is my non-safe. And I'm just, I don't know. Obviously we always have a second photographer as well that can second shoot things, but more and more I've been telling the second, safe shoot, safe shoot, safe shoot. And then I do my thing, So I have a camera that a lot of times for ceremonies, I'll have a camera that's set up with a light, on the, let's say you can shoot from above on the cathedral or whatever. It's a really tricky shot, that shot, to get a light or two to come down into the middle aisle at just the right moment, especially because when people stand up in a cathedral, no matter how high your light is, you can't always calculate the angle is going to hit the bride and groom without a shadow. So it's not a safe shot. It's not a safe shot. And so if I can get that shot and know that the other person has got the other stuff, cool. So
there's also a lot of talking with eyes too when you're in.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, especially when you're in
not between us.
Well,
not between us. There's a lot of this and this. Not with eyes.
That trust is big though, right? Like that. I remember when for the first 3 years or 4 years, I don't even know how long, Mike. It was that like I just exclusively second shot for Flagship. I exclusively second shot for Mike. We did every wedding together, and that's all I did. And then when we started branching out to like, okay, I'm ready, we can start a second team. I started getting second shooters that like didn't normally shoot with us. That trust had to be there, and sometimes it wasn't, and it makes the day way more stressful.
Sometimes I still get like I shoot myself in the foot because I'm like I was too trusting, you know.
Right.
That happens when you shoot with me a lot.
I knew you were going to say that, and I wanted
for sure.
I knew you were going to say that. I just want to reassure you that you are not the person I'm talking about, or the person I'm talking about.
You always say that. You always say
no,
that.
because you do really get great shots.
Everybody sucks. Oh, but you're great, Ted. You're great, Ted.
You have to. No, I'm just kidding. No, I was actually just going through some stuff today that we did.
Ted's definitely helped me out of a few shitty situations.
Yeah,
for sure, with like batteries and cards or like whatever.
Oh, you need a tampon? I've got it right here.
Fuck yeah, that was awesome.
Swear to God.
Fucking beautiful.
I carry some weird stuff in my bag.
Dude, you hit weird shit, and I think this is like I have a weird thing. Ted's seen it, Mike's seen it for sure. I have a weird thing with like having redundant backups and shit like that. I think it's my background and my normal profession. My day job is like I always have. I'm like over prepared to a stupid extent in certain things. Because I've been fortunate to not have a lot of weird shit happen because I'm so like fucking psychotic about things. And there's some stuff that I haven't been fortunate about. Would you say that that's something that you guys do? Or are you like, over the years, have you become more and more like over prepared to not have issues with batteries or not have issues with gear or anything kind of stuff?
Oh yeah, definitely. But it's still like shit still happens.
Oh yeah.
I mean, weird shit. Like you can't
you really can't be over prepared.
The lights that I use are plug-in lights, so sometimes we'll hit a venue that there's like a plug 100 feet across the room, so I gotta figure something out.
It doesn't fucking help. Okay, that's not useful.
I think my least favorite, and I know there's a lot of people that love them, but my least favorite type of wedding is a city wedding. And it's because I don't like to bring in every single thing, but I like to have a lot of stuff in my car.
Right.
Then if I need it,
and then you don't want to get.
I can't get it.
You don't want to get your car towed.
Because now I'm like a block away from the venue, and then I've got to. It's like. I screw these city weddings.
I know Mike does that with his bag, and I do it with my bag. I have found a way to everything except for light stands and monopods, tripods, and stuff like that, and they can be attached aside. I have like every piece of equipment possible in my backpack, and it's fucked my back up so many times at weddings.
That's the thing. You have to be,
especially city weddings.
You have to think about that. Like you actually, Colin, that's something that really serious. Okay. Why is she?
The guys kind of saw me like freak out on New Year's Eve because we were always at weddings early, and we left like an hour early like normal. And I think because the next day was the Philadelphia parade, plus there was like some weird construction going on, we were sitting around City Hall for like an hour, just sitting there.
It was crazy.
And I was freaking out. Like I was like, let me out of the car, I'm gonna walk. They were like, calm down, it's okay. I was like, I'm like shaking. I was so upset. We got close and I just kind of like jumped out of the car and ran in. Yeah, I don't like the city weddings are tough.
So the thing with city weddings is we've only had one, I think, in like 10 years where I thought the people were nice people.
Was that the wedding I shot with you there?
Probably not. There's only one.
We've had super amazing couples at a lot of them, and it's just a shit show of a day though, man. And it's like the traveling, it's like there always has to be some form of travel that we're going to be included in, stuff like that. It's just a lot more planning.
So our greatest couple in the city was, I'm trying to remember the name, Chris and somebody. They were the ones that were in downtown, like Old City. Remember he was like, he was an EMS worker.
Oh,
she
yeah,
was a nurse.
Yeah.
And they're the old bar, E-bar or whatever it is.
We had a couple great ones.
We left our house 2 hours early. We're 40 minutes from Philly, maybe 30.
Yeah.
We got there. We sat in traffic for 35 minutes to go 2 blocks.
Second shooter who's always like, I don't know, he can drink a beer and smoke a cigarette and leave after us, and he gets there before us. Like, oh, hey, by the way, there's a
like he has like his feet up on the ledge waiting for us. Like, where have you guys been?
How you guys doing? There's a tractor trailer jackknifed on Chestnut Street.
Yeah, he calls us.
So you're not getting through.
He goes, by the way, where the parking garage is, there's a jackknifed 18-wheeler. We're like,
luckily we had a cool couple that day who didn't really mind, but.
Well, they actually called us and said, just so you know, they've blocked off the 3 blocks around where we are, and you can't get in. And it's just like, oh, this is a city wedding thing again. Like, it's so difficult. And that's the part of photography and wedding filming and wedding photography that like isn't something that people really talk about. Logistics are freaking hard. That is like the hardest. I feel like that's the hardest part of our job, is getting from point A to point B smoothly.
Do you have a rule of thumb for like how early you get to a wedding? So like I'm psychotic about that shit. That's something I do. I'm like an hour and a half early to every wedding, as much as I can.
What do you mean hour and a half early before you actually have to walk in?
Yep.
No way. No,
I'm
hell
fucking crazy. I'll go sit in a Wawa parking lot.
Starbucks 2 minutes before I go on the elevator.
No.
Screw that.
I'll sit in a fucking Wawa parking lot somewhere soon. What? Yep. That's amazing.
Is that whose face is that? Is that Jen's face?
It's
not actually my face. That's just Joe.
Just eyes.
It's so close.
Oh, Mike, you're muted.
I'm trying to figure out if that is in any way.
Mike, like, unmute, dude.
So the one wedding I shot with Colin and Jen up north, the one we were talking about earlier.
Hold on a second. Time the fuck out. We need to respond to this.
Okay,
image.
We're back.
There we go. Thank you.
It is you, Jen.
Why didn't you make me the tiger?
I was thinking about it, but this was burning up so much time.
Real quick, respect.
Neil Robinson.
Lots of respect for pulling off a fedora.
Here you go. That was the real one. Jen came to the scene.
Wow,
Jen and Joe became one.
Looks seamless.
Jen exotic.
I actually painted in the skin color to hide like the stuff.
You did a terrible job.
Actually do that for real and send that
to and Tiger Sal, man.
Real quick, I gotta say this, and this is something I wanted to bring up. It's a personal, like you have like something like as a person that you just fucking despise. For me, it's fedoras. And I will say that you are the only person I found that can pull off a fucking fedora as of right now. The rest of the people are usually dudes with t-shirts.
She's married, dude.
So I'm just saying. No, I'm giving respect. It's respect. It's pure respect.
Colin or me?
No, you're rocking the fedora in that photo.
I can't pull off a fedora.
No, fuck no, dude. You're a dude in a t-shirt. You should be wearing a fedora. I see these assholes in t-shirts with a fedora on. I'm like, what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing?
I got one. Right? I got one.
Sun's in my eyes.
I just bought a new one.
And on my ears.
Right.
Anyway, what I was saying earlier.
No, you weren't.
Yeah, we were talking about showing up early. I got to a wedding so early where I was second shooting for Jen, and I called them. I was like, "Hey, I'm here early, by the way." And they're like, "We didn't leave the house yet."
Right.
All right. There's more to that story. It was in like Long Island or somewhere way far out. And Ted's like, I shot a deer this morning.
Yeah.
That's kind of bizarre.
That I remember that happened. Yeah.
I don't even know. You might have dressed and cleaned it. I don't know. You like.
No, my buddies came and did it because I had to go to the wedding and be there early.
Yeah, you definitely did that. And
dude, I'll go sit in a Wawa parking lot. That's how like scared I am of being like significantly late to a wedding, especially in the summer.
We always get there early. We plan on getting there an hour early, and then sometimes it ends up being like 40 minutes to a half an hour.
So this is a shitty thing to talk about, and I don't like to bring it up, but like we've never talked about it, and nobody ever gives their opinion on it. So I'm interested to see what you say. I've had second shooters show up like 45 minutes late, not because of traffic, just in general. Like,
there's a couple people in the group that
good
post
for you.
Last time they worked,
Well done.
What are you
Good
doing?
for you. Good for you. The fedora, man.
Oh. Sorry.
You fucking baseball hat wearing motherfucker. Anybody can pull off a baseball hat.
I'm fixing the photo. I didn't have this up on my main screen.
Are you putting the fedora on Joe Exotic?
Only I can pull off the baseball cap sideways.
No.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Tommy
here's
loves when I hear my hat sideways. He loves.
Be quiet. Be quiet. So here was my question. And Jen, I'll pose it to you. I posed it to Colin as well. But like, I've had second shooters show up a couple times, like 30, 45 minutes late. And that's someone, like I said, like I was telling Colin, when I say I show up an hour and a half early, like I'll go sit at a Wawa or something like that, so that I'm there on the minute. You know what I mean? But like when you have people showing up late, like do you know what does that do to you? What you hire them again? Any of that kind of stuff? Like what's your general situation with that?
Yeah, I'm probably the wrong person to ask.
Nope.
Because probably anybody who watches this from anything is going to be like, oh, that's why I wasn't hired again.
Shots fired.
If you screw up in any way, you're probably not hired again. And that's not completely true. I've had like one or two people that have screwed up more than once. And then the second time I was done. And it's just because I can't afford to have screw ups. We charge too much money to have screw ups.
There's screw ups, and then there's screw ups that are because
you're just not being attentive at all.
Yeah.
Right. And
I would say one of the major issues that I've had personally is people talking to me too much during the day.
I could see that.
The jibba jab. There's appropriate talking, and then there's inappropriate talking. Like, if you see that I'm sweating and you see that I just showed up and my shit is hanging off half my face and I'm dragging stuff into the church and you're like, so the bride's father was like really nice. I'm like, shut the fuck up and carry my bag in and stop talking to me about this right now.
The only time of day when we're kind of off is like we're all sitting down eating dinner together and like the DJ's there too, so we know like the parent dancers aren't gonna pop off.
Right.
That's when we can kind of sit and have a conversation, but the rest of the day is like kind of off limits for conversation.
No, totally. It's just
for me it is.
Once I'm set up for something, I'm good, but like
I can't think.
Right.
There's some people that just love to talk, and they love to talk during moments. And that kills me because I'm like, you're inserting yourself into their thing. And that kills the video. And I know after working with him and him telling me, like, because I wasn't used to working with video for a very long time. I never even worked with videographers at all. And he would be like, you're kind of killing it, because you would be like, oh, that's great right after. And it kind of ruins the mood. And so after a while, I learned, like,
talking does. For me, for video, I use a lot of ambient audio in my edits. And also, it kind of draws the attention away from people in the room.
And there are little things that happen right after those big moments that are important, too.
Right.
And if you talk through them, they get fucked up. And I have, I'm funny. I think I'm funny. I have learned how to be funny in certain ways, but not be funny to the expense of the day, right? Like, so, and there are still people, maybe younger people, that just aren't getting that they think it's just all about being funny and like, whatever. It's not about that.
Right. And that's something we talk about all the time, where it's like, as I'm coming in, to like groom prep, I'll start like jabbing at the best man. I'll start messing with them just to loosen everybody up. And then once we're in, oh shit. All right. I take it back. I guess two people could pull off the fedora.
No, he can pull it off.
No, so, but making those jokes, like there's a time and a place, like once we're in the portrait session, once we're in those moments, I'm not going to be like making the same dick jokes that I'm making to the groomsmen, you know what I mean? To make them laugh. It's not the same thing. But so I'm going to throw an example out here and you tell me if this is what you're talking about. Let's say like the bride's walking down the aisle and the videographer walks up to the groom and says like, hey man, there she is. You excited? Cause that was my fucking wedding.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm like, why are you talking to me, man?
Said that to you when?
Yep. No first look. She's walking down the aisle and he's fucking talking to me. It was brilliant.
Wow.
By the way, not to jump in on this, but like my story for why I started is similar to yours. I looked at my wedding video and go, I could do better than that.
Then you never did.
No, it's still garbage. It's still dog shit. That's why I'm switching a photo. Maybe I'll be good at that. I don't know.
Kidding, just kidding.
Shit, dude, it's all your product. I hope it was good.
Colin wants to know if that was Ted that filmed your video.
It was. No, I won't say who it was because he's still active. And I looked at his website actually a week ago. And he's upped his game a little. He's upped his game a little bit. He's doing highlights now, not the 80s style videos.
The best Tommy moment ever is he calls me the baby buffalo, like a nickname.
Oh fuck.
Well, he tells me to get out of the way once during like the bride getting her dress zipped up. And
can I say how I said it? Can I say how
you said it?
I said, "Get out of the way, you fucking baby buffalo."
As a bridesmaid
and
walked
then
in.
The bridesmaid is zipping up. She's like, "I hope he's not talking about me."
Yeah, she thought I was talking about her. I was like, "Whoops." I was like, "No. I'm talking about him." Thank God she said something. That's better. Look at that skin toning.
She like
That's
whispered
fucking
it.
spot on.
You're welcome.
Can you put the fedora on him? That's all I'm asking.
No, but I wanted to do a Karmapants tattoo on him, but I won't go that far.
That KP on an angle.
It just looks like him with softer skin.
Can I show you guys a photo from my first wedding?
No.
Sure.
Your
Your first wedding?
Very first wedding. Very, 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 very,
That was
very
my
first
website.
wedding.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Ted, you changed your website again? That looks awesome.
Well, there you
So
go.
this was at the Cuba Libre in
I
Atlantic
like
City.
that angle.
Dude, that would be a tough spot to shoot anyway.
Right.
This is my first wedding ever, and I'm getting there. I'm like, where do I stand?
Can you go back to that question of can I show you a photo of my first wedding?
I'll give you that.
It's not. Don't say that. Don't give him the wrong advice. It's not well lit.
Yeah, don't light like that.
Can we all show one?
Yeah, I think we should.
Oh, you're gonna play this game.
Don't look
No,
at
let's
Guys,
not.
pull one up. Come on, let's do it. Let's do it. I'll show you one from my very first wedding.
I think I burnt them all.
I have them.
I was trying to do off-camera lighting, and it went off
doing-
randomly.
Are we doing our first photo wedding?
No, I used to make motion titles and shit, man.
Oh, that's dope.
Some of mine still look like this, Ted, just so you know. So.
Yeah.
Ted, you should throw that picture of me as John Finley in the comments under the thing, and then I'll throw Jen Exotic in there.
Wait,
I'm really
I
trying
tried
to
putting it in
understand
here.
how that's Jen Exotic because I don't see it.
I don't see it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see it either. It just looks
Whatever
like
you say,
squeezed me,
John
so,
Finley.
Oh, sorry, Ted.
I'll send you the photo.
He just wants to play opposite me in the movie. That's all.
That's what it is.
There you go.
But you
Is there a love
actually
scene
look
between
like-
Joe Exotic and John Finley?
We didn't have to superimpose your face in to make it look like.
Yes, you did.
Ted could be the armless zookeeper.
Yeah.
Hey, so
By the way, did you know they actually said Matthew McConaughey's who's going to play in the Joe Exotic movie? He's going to play that
Matthew McConaughey.
whatever. That's what I said.
No, you said Hayes.
Well, now I'm sticking with it. Matthew McConaughey is playing that guy that's got no legs.
Wait, she
yeah,
corrected
no, I
all
saw
three
that.
of
That
us.
was good. That was
She
good.
corrected all three of us in this episode.
There
that's
have
pretty
been.
cool.
I'm so sorry.
She's right though.
You're
You
wrong.
fucking idiot. We're a bunch of idiots. We all know that. What
Whoa.
the fuck was that? Who's getting notifications? We've talked about how you got started and all this kind of things, and like your method on the day, and your priorities being like advocating for the client and stuff like that. What would you say your style is, though? You have a specific look, like, and I know it's such a shitty question to ask somebody, but you like when I look at your photos, it's like it stands out as something different. You know what I mean?
Photo question. I'm getting a beer.
Oh my god.
Video is coming next, motherfucker. No, let me try that again. Hold on. Video is coming next, man.
I'm really getting a beer.
He really like this is what he does during weddings.
I'm really drinking skunked beer, so that's okay.
Like while we're at a wedding, he's like, "Oh, you have an important question? I'll be right back. I gotta pee."
Cocktail.
That's your approach. I like it. Oh, there's a question. Do you shoot cocktail hour?
Do you have your Dido light set up right now? When you stood up, I saw a really cool reflection in the window. Is that your Dido light set up? Are they frozen?
I think they're frozen. Ah, there they are. Look at, that was amazing that you guys did that together coming back. I'm so happy you did that.
Our internet connection is unstable.
Oh, it happens.
Where do you live in the
Amongst
What
other
do you live on a
things.
farm or something?
There
There they are. They're there again.
Now when they hear a question they don't want to answer, they're just going to do that.
Colin, I thought of you guys as soon as this quarantine thing happened. I'm like, damn, I should have bought half of that cow they offered me. Yeah, that would have been great, but
you can still buy a real cow, a full cow.
I wouldn't have given it to you.
Yeah. Well, I forget what you got. You guys you're selling some of it, not all of it, but.
I wouldn't have given it to you.
That's supposedly an awesome investment.
Wow, you think I had enough meat for my life?
You got enough of everything.
It was a hard thing.
You've eaten more tonight than I've eaten in the last 2 days.
Well, I don't eat breakfast, and I usually don't eat lunch either, so.
Me either.
What are you doing?
I save it all for dinner.
Dinner?
I made steak. Oh, no, dinner was at 7:30 today, and then I have dessert after that.
8:30.
Yeah.
He was at 9.
Ice cream, cookies.
What was the question?
So the question was,
what's your photography style?
No. So yeah, like, what's the approach you take? Would you say it's photojournalistic? Again, somebody asked me this recently, and I have no fucking idea how to answer what my style is. But like, what would you say you prioritize on a wedding day as far as shooting?
Whatever the hell I can get.
Dope. Good enough.
You're like dark and moody, right? Like vibrant, dark and moody. I feel like you got a really cool style.
Really?
No, I mean, it's a little mixture of both, but I wouldn't even put us in the dark and moody category. It's just, I don't know.
Holy shit.
I like to say that we're, I don't think it's a very kosher word to say.
Say it. Say the fuck out of it.
We're schizophrenic, a little schizophrenic. Like, we have multiple personalities when it comes to how we do our stuff, especially for me. I like every part of photography. So for me to put myself into one category is really uncomfortable for me.
Right.
I think one of the things that helps is Jen's sister she's kind of been the studio manager for like a year now.
Over
a year.
2 years.
And it's been crazy helpful. So when we get a
so
wedding inquiry for like June or July or a summer wedding, she'll send out the pixie set or the wedding gallery for a summer wedding. So that
look at all these sweat beads.
Well, so they kind of get an idea of like, here's what a summer wedding looks like. So
as opposed to a winter wedding.
Yeah, they're not.
That's awesome.
Super smart.
A December wedding isn't looking through a summer weddings gallery and seeing like, oh, okay, this is what our expectations are.
But we also always ask, like, you know, when you looked at our website, like, was there an image that stood out to you the most?
That's great.
And then if there is an image that stands out to them to the most, it's like, okay, that we'll try to recreate something like that for you.
I have it. It's that engagement shot in the boat that you guys did. That always stands out to me. Like the rowboat on the lake or whatever that was.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've had a lot of people criticize that photo.
What? That one was amazing. That and Colin's drone shot from Mexico or whatever that is coming into the resort. That was like the most epic shot.
And that was, by the way, like the worst photography situation. Believe it or not, how beautiful it was down there.
Really?
You were like, he was blasted the entire, like, not him.
Flying the drone blasted.
Room was blasted every single moment of the entire trip.
That can be rough.
So we kept trying to do these shoots, and he just kept getting wasted.
Yeah.
And it was like no time for us to do these amazing shots that we thought we could do. So everything that you guys see, like if you look at the blog or whatever, everything is from that day, because we couldn't get the next day after the wedding or 2 days after. We did a sunrise shot shoot, and she called me at 6 o'clock and said he's throwing up, and I was like, okay, what do you want to do? And she's like, we were leaving, our flight was leaving in like 6 hours, and I was like, what do you want to do? And she's like, I guess we could just go down. So we went down to the ocean at what, 5:30, 6 a.m.
Yeah, sunrise.
My fucking camera.
Oh, all our camera.
Oh my God. Fogged up. Everything starts fogging up, and it didn't fog up right away. It fogged up like 20 minutes in.
Yeah.
And, so we had our stuff outside for a while, and of course we're not used to shooting down there.
Right.
So I would never do that again.
It's the fucking worst.
Oh man, I would just leave my stuff outside at like 4 a.m.
I think to answer that question really is all in the preparation. There's a lot of people, we always ask, like, what did you like out of our gallery? And they tell us, and then we kind of gauge how we're going to shoot based on that. So some people are like, we like dark.
Yeah.
And then some people don't. And then they're like, we like the candid stuff. So
or we really like bright and happy.
Yeah. So we kind of just gauge it on that. So there's a little
I have no problem shooting however anybody, as long as I know what they like, I have no problem shooting that way.
Right.
If you like a bright wedding and your wedding's in March and it's your ceremony's in the dark, it's going to be darker. It's going to be dark.
And being able to communicate those to like
and I think
the expectations.
That comes down to is that it's really photojournalistic, right? Because really what it comes down to is we're trying to make it look like what it looks like.
Right.
I like that.
The only times that we're really trying to not make it look like what it looks like is if it looks like complete and utter shit.
Right.
Or if we're going for an extreme creative shot, which is not all day. And then also night shots are really fun. Night shot that's the time you get to play, Right. You get to do stuff that's like really weird or different, or they, one of my favorite shots that we ever did was the cigar shot. And that's because they had a cigar bar and they were really drunk and they were willing to do whatever. And we got this really cool cigar shot. And I see these shots all the time and I'm like, but were they actually smoking cigars that night? Like, that's the difference between me and maybe some other people. I won't shoot that shot unless they're actually smoking cigars.
Right.
Yeah. If it's
that doesn't mean that we won't set it up. We'll set it up, but I'm not going to make somebody who doesn't smoke.
You're not going to bring your own cigars with you.
Right.
Right. Like, it makes zero sense to me to be like, now puff a vaporizer out of your mouth if you've never even smoked a cigarette before. No, if you have a cigar bar, we're going to do that shot, So
yeah, that's awesome.
We just try to draw the inspiration from the people, and the circumstance.
And kind of the same thing applies to video, because there's a lot of people who want more of like the music video kind of thing in the end, and some other people want we're going to read letters. I want the first look with my dad mic, first look with my fiance mic. Like, they want more of the dialogue.
Definitely.
So it kind of all depends on
are you guys finding that more? Like, are people having more like specific questions for you about stuff like that?
Not really. Like, so I was just about to comment on this, because working with Mike and Tommy has really like kind of opened my eyes to see, like, people generally, they're not going to book someone unless they're already sort of on the same line as what we do anyway. Like, I have a client, I refer a ton of clients to Mike and Tommy for video, as much as I can anyway. And most of the time, like, if it's a good fit, they book. It's great. Once in a while, they like specifically want something that Mike and Tommy don't really offer, like, a long hour-long edit. And sometimes we can like educate them about their different options, because everybody thinks that's the only thing available, or that because their parents had that. And so we have an opportunity to talk about what we do. Other times, like, no, I want that. So they book with someone else anyway. So generally, like, we're not going to like get to the wedding day and realize, oh, we're not a good fit. Like, usually we would have found that out way beforehand, and it ends up playing out the right way where they're a good fit for us, we're a good fit for them. It works out great.
I think, though, that's because the way I set my packages up is very polarizing. And I did that on purpose, where it's like, you're going to love this or you're not. And it kind of helps weed out clients that way. But it probably wasn't the smartest move. Like, it definitely alienates a lot of people, but it's worked.
Well, it comes down to also showing what you want to do, right? If you don't shoot the music video style at all, like Flagship doesn't, right? It's I'm not going to show that. And if somebody asks for that, it's not what we do, right? And for me, shooting bright and airy is never going to happen, right? So even though I may get some shots that may look that way, is that what I'm going to show in my portfolio work on my website? Even if it's a great shot, am I really showing what I do? And I think You know,
If I could go back, I would do what Brent Young does and put no audio in the film at all, just music. So smart.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I think there comes a time where you're old and you're like, I just want your money. And, you know, I'm not saying it in a negative way.
This is the cue to edit this part out.
Yeah, you can edit whatever the fuck you want. But what I'm
No,
saying,
this is good.
no, I'm being real. Like, there comes a point in which your ego goes boop off to the side, and you're like, I try to treat it like a corporate job in a way. I'm like, what would I tell a corporate company? A corporate company says to me, we want light and airy, we want this, we want that. And I'm like, okay, and you're paying me a ton of money for it. Okay, cool. And you're happy, and you're going to keep hiring me.
Yeah.
In some ways, the way I look at this job is in that way. Like, I'm not trying to change the world with my photography, okay? Like, I'm over that. That was maybe me at 25. That's not me at 40. I'm not trying to change the world. I'm just trying to make people happy. I'm trying to give them a good product. So if that means that we get a client that's a referral from, they were in a different wedding that we did, and they're like, we love everything, but we kind of really like some of the light and airy stuff. Do you think you could do some of that? Of course. I'll give you 20 fucking formals that are light and airy. I don't care. Because at the end of the day, I'm still going to do a job for you. You're going to love everything. And you're probably going to realize you didn't even want those. Like, that is, once you see the photo, once you get the product, you're going to be like, that wasn't even that important to me.
I think.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I have certain edits I won't let them get. And that's more because we do so many weddings that I can't have it clogging up the backlog. So that it's like I can't just take them on for their money, because I'll actually start losing it because it slows me down so much.
Right. And if they're seeing your work and they're booking you, and then they're asking for light and airy, they like your work. They don't really know. And that's light and airy, dark and moody. That's shit we know.
They don't even know what they're talking about.
Right. They don't even know. They don't even know what they're asking for.
You really want to get into it. Like, it's a mind fuck. Okay. When you talk to these people, it's like you could literally, like, what's that movie with Zach Galifianakis where he's like, I'm mind controlling.
Dinner. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
I feel like I can.
But I have brain control.
I feel like I'm brain controlling people. Like, when we're talking on the phone like this, and they're like, but we want this, and I'm like, but do you?
Right.
After we're talking, they're like, I don't even want that. You're right.
I think everybody got their first set of 10 questions off of what they read on the internet.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're going to ask them.
But we have a very good way of seeing through that, and we have a very nice way of saying, okay, you've asked all your questions. Now, obviously, like, you contacted us. You were really interested in our website. You had a friend that we photographed their wedding. Like, let's cut the bullshit. Did you want to? A lot of the
people are the happiest when we're done, and we're like, you know, do you have any more questions? They're like, no. And we're like, here are the questions that you didn't ask.
Yeah.
You ask.
That's
and
key.
If you're going to talk to other people, ask these questions.
Oh, I like
they
that.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write that down.
we're so brutally honest in our one-on-ones with clients in the first initial contact, because I do not want to photograph someone's wedding that's going to be like,
we don't want to miss anybody's expectation. Really, it's kind of
that's what works, though. That's my whole thing. Like, our sales style is we lay it all out on the table, even if I have to show you someone else that I think is right for you. Like, and then you make your decision. Just
but
like,
do you think that just comes from, like, kind of getting to a place where you're not needing everybody financially? Because
no, I don't know about that. It's more that I think I had a sales job in the past where I really did not like selling things to people that they didn't want or maybe didn't need.
Yeah,
and so my version of sales became selling without selling, where it was just like, I'm gonna, you know, I want you to know everything before you make your decision, not like you book and then you have remorse over it.
yeah.
I think that might just be more my personality, and it probably can hurt business wise, like
Ted,
that I do that.
Ted, who you texting, man? What are you doing on your
Taking
phone?
notes what she just said because I think it's really cool.
So we're recording this shit, dude. You can just watch it back.
I know, but I'm gonna forget to do
What
that.
the fuck is wrong with you, man?
Hey,
Pay attention.
Fine.
Pay attention.
So,
Hey, no. So what
I
to what you
have a
said
question.
though? Now shut up. To what you said was.
I'm gonna keep texting.
No, that's right. To your point though about the financial thing, that's something, and I talk about this a bunch, and it's something I used early in my career, and I like to point it out for people. I think one of the best starter education sites you can get, and this might be an unpopular opinion, was Sue Bryce. I felt like for the money you put in, like I think it was like $35 a month, something like that. For the money you put in at the beginning, there was a shit ton of information. It was better than a lot of the other education portals I went through, and it was just like well put together. Whenever something she talks about with business and money is being tied to the yes, right? Saying like clients can feel that, right? If you're just like, I need the rent money, so like, yes, I will shoot your shit. Like they can see that. What's that? Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Oh wait, no, now's the Wild West. Everything's different.
Yeah, no, right now it doesn't mean anything. No, but it's something she talks about where like they can feel that, right? So like being tied to the yes, as soon as you can kind of unlink yourself from like having to get the yes, it gives you the ability to pick and choose your clients. You're going to be so much happier. You're going to get the right clients. You're going to get the right people to be able to say like, hey, no is an acceptable answer, or not right now is an acceptable answer for you as a business, right?
Yeah, she also talks about how you, like, when people say no, you just tell them like, that's fine. You're going to feel shitty about it later, but it's fine.
I fucking love that you went there. That's amazing. Yeah, so accurate.
That's kind of it, because it's true, and we do that a lot, or I do that a lot on my, like, when we talk to people.
Yeah, no, we both do. I mean, we're not trying to book people that are gonna.
What's that question that people ask that always makes us go? Or
is it? Do you do dope gazebo shots?
Yeah.
Stop it, you.
Sorry, our cat's digging into the walls and.
Yo, the people on the iTunes version of this are really gonna think that gazebos make you that angry.
They actually do, but not anymore so much. I'm starting to like find my way with the gazebo again.
It's either gazebos or the empty ball.
No, but what the question that we get is like, it's always like a question of like, well, you know, we have a friend who like charges a lot less than you guys, and blah blah blah, and I'm always like,
cool,
awesome. Then you should totally hire them and be totally disappointed.
Yes. Chris Smith. So Chris Smith came on this. The author of the Conversion Code came on and talked about it, and Mike's been doing stuff like this for years too, and he called it the takeaway, right? So you take it away from them. Say, hey, you know, maybe we're not the right fit for you.
Yep.
And
I do it all the time.
80% of the time, 90% of the time, you'll see them turn around and go, oh, whoa, no, that's not what I meant.
I didn't know it was a thing. It comes naturally to me because I'm insulted now. Like, you called me, we talked for a half an hour, you took a half hour out of my time with my family, and then at the end of it, you knew my prices, you knew everything, you know everything I do, and then at the end of it, you're like, well, but there is somebody a lot cheaper, and I'm just like, and?
You know what one gets? You know what one gets me more than that? It's when they inquire and they say, "Well, we just spent so much on another vendor, so we're trying to save some money." For when I see that, I usually always put like, "Well, we're not available. Here's our like list of referrals of people to reach out to." I
just got that recently.
I wonder if that's like, I almost wonder if someone read that somewhere on a site like that. You could get better deals if you say that. Like
someone went. As you know, wedding venues can be incredibly expensive. We just spent a ton of money on. We have 200 people coming. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Why do I care about that?
You know what my answer to that is?
Invite less people.
You know, the only thing that you're gonna get out of this entire wedding is something to watch or to look at on paper.
Well, the funny thing to me is if they just rephrase that, I would actually be more motivated to help them. Yep. Like if it was more like we're hurting, blah, 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 blah. But when you take it as like, hey, I just hired these people and you're a piece of shit, so I want to pay less. Like, no, I'm not going to help you when it's that way.
I don't feel bad for you. I do not fucking feel bad for you.
I think what all the buzz is about is the band stealing the meal before you get it.
That's the shit. Dude, we were at a wedding one time and this guy lost his motherfucking mind about there not being forks for him to eat his food. And I'm like, dude, I've been shooting since fucking 9 o'clock this morning. You got here 2 hours ago. Calm the fuck down. was band.
No, we almost had an actual brawl at a wedding because these motherfuckers ate our filet mignon, and they had been there for 1 hour, and we were there for like 9.
Yeah, they just got set
and they
up.
just walked in and ate our food, and I about lost it with the cute little girls that sang up there with their little dresses on and their makeup. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
And then they started the parent dances without you, didn't they?
So I actually have a story about that. We were at we were on LBI this summer. It was a photographer from New York, really cool. First time I ever shot with her. And the band comes up to us and they go, "Hey, let's go eat. Like, I'm the MC. Don't worry, nothing's going to happen. Like, if I'm not up here." So we're like, cool, because dinner was in a totally different room. And this is like an awesome venue. It's a restaurant that converts to a wedding venue at night. And all of a sudden, like, the photographer peeks her head out and she goes, "They're doing toasts right now." And like literally they were doing toast. They started them without us. We're in a totally different room. So we run up, we do it. She almost fought like the person that started. It was pretty awesome. I wish she did kick the shit out of her.
Now let's be super fucking honest right now, right? Jem, would that bother you, right? Like that bad? If you knew like it happened, it started, but like you could get there in time.
No, that wasn't
you that much. No, hold on. No, I know that's not the point. I know that's the point, Mike. But Jem, would it bother you that much as a photographer?
Oh, it's different.
You might be
No, wait. I'm getting to that.
Yeah, you might be thinking more of me than you should. Yes, it would bother me. I would want to drop kick the shit out of that person.
Right.
And also, it just happened.
I'd make a
not
lot
that
of
long
noise,
ago.
put my tripod down.
dude.
Yeah.
For video, you want to set somebody on fucking fire.
Well, dude, it happens. We expect it with bands. It's more that don't worry, it won't happen. And they like that set her
Such a
over.
Just
move.
happened at Philly wedding.
We gotta get a band on here.
Bands ahead of time. I talk to them the day of. I make sure everything's good, and it still fucking happens.
Yeah.
Come on.
Ted, what are you sending her, dude?
I'm not sending you anything.
You're
She's making it up.
Fucking
Making it
liar.
up. I'm not doing anything.
No,
Ted.
so that is something that when I'm shooting photo versus video, it's like a fucking weight lifted off my shoulder. So, you know what I mean? Like I know, and I overshoot the shit out of all that stuff because I'm used to having to fully cover the event. So I get like 100, probably not 100, that's not right, but like 50 or 60 shots of a fucking speech where I'm like, I didn't need that many, not even close, because I'm used to having to cover the whole.
Same thing for video at all.
I know.
So it just happened to us in Philly not that long ago, and I was shooting video with him, and I don't shoot video with him that often, and it happened to us, and we went in, and I planted the camera, and I missed like the, "Hey, I'm blah blah blah's brother." Like,
No, for those of you who don't know me,
which, I mean, the guy knows he's his brother, so who cares?
You know, the part that gets me so mad about it is that the guests and the family sees you scrambling to set up and kind of think like that's your fault, like you weren't prepared. And it's like, come on.
Fucking amateur.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're eating for the first time in 10 hours. Like,
That's what gets me, but is what it is. Such is.
Right.
Everybody hire a DJ.
all right. So here's the most
I
important
have a
question we
question.
get. Nope, shut up. The most important question we can ask today is Karmapants. Where'd the name come from?
No. Before that.
No, I need to know.
We talked about that.
And then I swear to God, I promise Ted gets to ask his question because I told him to shut up 3 times.
We talked about that.
You froze.
We need to talk about how every single time you do a speech and you have the toasts and the bride and groom are sitting next to each other like this, there is always the maitre d' that comes by with the napkin.
Or the soup. Who needs soup right now?
Or the drink. Or the this. Or the that. or they're standing next to them in the middle and they're like, "This guy is hilarious."
Or just walking back and forth.
You're
That's
like,
the best.
"I'm trying to shoot this." Like, you jerk, and you didn't even dress up.
Everything.
Like, your hair is like this, and you've got pimples, and you're like,
There's one venue I really try not to shoot at, and I won't say what venue it is, but the maitre d' is like that in every shot in every part of the day, like stands next to them.
Yeah, 60 New Jersey.
I know it.
Yeah.
But I know which
The
one.
hard one is when they have a huge staff and you just have people walking back and forth in the background, like Crystal Tea Rooms at a fucking beautiful venue, absolutely amazing.
You're like,
And
Yeah.
moving back and forth. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Stop moving.
That only has 3/4 of a cup full of water.
It's the worst.
Could you
That's amazing.
uncrinkle her napkin?
Yeah, you know
crinkle
what?
or napkin. Can you
I already say
vacuum?
that it does happen a lot.
I think we just became best friends.
Can you vacuum under the head table real quick? Thanks.
Right here. Right here.
We need water at table 3. Water at table 3.
And in reality, they have a job to do, right? Their job in their head is to make sure that the bride and groom have the perfect fucking day.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen Ted almost fist fight a fucking maitre d' over ambiance.
Oh, dude.
That was a fun day.
That was a fun day. It was fucking nuts. But the guy's like, your light is ruining our fucking ambiance. There's another place we've been to where they told the photographers that their flash was melting the fucking wedding cake.
That's right.
And I'm like,
That's
dude.
I've heard shit about my lights
The
before.
light, yeah.
But I'm like,
real.
okay, but the DJ's fucking like maroon, orange, purple, and red lights. They're all fine.
Right.
Flashing and giving people seizures. Mine are constant. No seizure.
No seizures. You
My
get
favorite
100% guarantee, no seizures here.
Yeah.
My favorite is the Jersey mom. I'm sorry, but is that your light up there in the corner?
Oh God.
And then I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know whose light that is.
We've gotten some shit
It's
where it
our
was
companies, and I'm like, I don't know who that is.
that light's in our face. I'm gonna knock it down.
Let me just
fucking go ahead.
Your effing mind right now. You can lie to people. You can say to them, I don't know whose light that is. I think that's the venue's light.
What?
They don't know. They go, oh my God, that's the venue's light? And then all of a sudden it's fine.
Did Colin tell you? Did Colin
Ted,
tell
what's
you about
happening, man?
I'm just telling you, you don't have to take ownership.
One time at a wedding, we were setting up lights for video, and the lights were not hitting the dance floor because there was this massive floral arrangement of a centerpiece and a table. And like every other table was a tall one and a short one. So me and Colin like waited for the staff to leave the room, and we just picked them up and moved them and switched tables so that the short one was where our light was. I never forget that because we didn't get caught.
That incident. I definitely remember that.
That's fucking dope, dude. I don't think I've ever been more proud of you. Like, good for you, Ted.
That was a great day.
I think the common theme has been to move all the flowers off of the sweetheart table when we do toast too, or when they're toast.
Yeah. Well, I was under a lot of pressure that time because I was doing the lead video for Mike.
I assume that everyone there is wasted, and they don't know what's going on.
Right. At the end of the day, it's all about us. I mean, we're trying to make
actually. No, he means at the actual end of the day.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, when they're wasted, it is all about us at that point because everybody's so stupid. Just do what you have to do to get the shot.
Yeah.
Hey, so I want to talk about something that I think is really cool. It's not necessarily wedding related, but there's something that you did, Jen, that I look up to your photography a lot as a photographer. Like always trying to become perfection and like look around the world at like what can I strive to be like. Your photography's great.
Heavily.
So, but there's something you did that is not wedding related that I thought was amazing. Me and my boys, me and my wife have 2 boys that are autistic. They're on the spectrum. Wow. And you did a blog post called A Day in the Life about this young boy that I straight up cried reading this thing. Like it was so emotional. And I guess I just want to hear if there's like anything other to the story than what you put in the blog. Cause just incredible that you were able to like capture all that information about this young boy and his family. And put it out there with photos and the text to kind of tell an entire story from top to bottom. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
So we photographed and filmed Tracy and her husband's wedding.
We had a history with this person beforehand, so.
But her son was from a previous marriage, and he was at the wedding.
Yeah.
And so we did their engagement shoot, and then we did their wedding. And then she got pregnant, and we did like a family shoot with her and her autistic son, older son. And then we just got to know each other really well. And we became friends like throughout it. And
but
then
that whole thing was not sponsored, but there was
not sponsored. There was Kennedy Kruger Hospital used the images.
Yeah.
But it really was like she asked me to do it.
there's some images used for I guess autism research through Kennedy
Krieger, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so at that point we had like a relationship already, a friendship, and then she asked me to come do that, and I stayed overnight at their house and did that shoot. I actually am like, looking back on it, it's like one of those shoots I wish I could have done a lot differently.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. I want to do it over. I've already asked her. I want to do it again, so.
Yeah, it was a powerful story. It really, really was. I'm really happy that you did that. It was a great thing to share with everybody.
I got home that night or the next day. Did I sleep over?
You stayed over.
Stayed over. I did breakfast with them, whatever. I got home the next day and I told
It
Colin,
was a whole day. It was a real day in the life.
Yeah.
It was a real wake up. Here's what's going on. People are getting showers. Shit's going nuts. Shit's going smooth, and everything in between. So it was.
But I got home and I remember telling you I don't want to do wedding photography anymore. I only want to do this.
Yeah.
It was really moving for me and really powerful, and
it really felt like true art.
It felt like I was actually doing something worthwhile. Not that weddings aren't, but it just felt. I wish that weddings were more organic like that. I'm sure they are in some places, maybe not where we live.
Right. The business of weddings can get in the way of the actual organic.
I actually think it's very specific to New Jersey.
Right.
I actually think New Jersey, New York, maybe Delaware. I actually think they're just very contrived. Whereas it seems like a lot of other places where we've traveled for weddings, it's just not as contrived. It's very contrived here.
I guess it all depends in the end of what, you're trying to get out of it,
for some people it's the wow pictures. If that's what you're going for New Jersey's great. But if you're going for stuff that's more emotional and whatever, it's definitely a harder state. And I do actually think that people seek us out here because of that too. Because
they say something like that. Yeah. Do you feel like you're attracting people that are more drawn to the story aspect of their family and their love versus the wedding grandeur?
Yeah, we actually get a lot of people that aren't that are having their wedding in New Jersey that aren't from New Jersey.
Okay.
So their family is from here and they're having their wedding here and they're not from New Jersey. So we actually book a lot that are from other places, right?
Yeah. No, a good deal of them are.
Do you guys do any or do you often see elopements or any of that kind of stuff? Do you guys do a lot of that?
We did a few of them. We did one down in Nashville, and then we ended up doing.
Don't see a lot though.
Yeah, not a lot.
It's definitely not a lot.
It's usually just something small where they hire Jen and I to do the photo and the video.
The Mexico wedding was an elopement.
Yeah, we did a wedding in Mexico that was, I guess, an elopement.
Because they hired us to do their wedding in Princeton. We did that first.
Yeah, so it was a really small key wedding down in Mexico that we did ourselves.
I think we would see more of them if we charged less.
Right.
Because people don't see the point of paying thousands of dollars for something that, maybe only has some people.
The reason I ask is I feel like it's easy for me, and this may just be I despise my own work, but it's easy for me to see and feel envious of some of these elopement and adventure photographers to get these super emotional moments where it's just all one-on-one moment with the couple somewhere fucking absolutely beautiful and this super intimate moment with tons of emotion that we just don't see in the business of weddings where we're at, and it's easy to see one of those and go fuck, I suck, that's amazing, but it's just a different situation, right?
It's totally different.
Yeah. And even in our one Mexico situation, it was a shitty rainy day. We didn't have a whole lot of time.
He was drunk.
But we were there for 4 days. We extended our stay and we're gonna do a shoot another day when everybody's kind of like, even keel, even though we weren't. And then we ended up kind of finishing off the shoot another day. But
it was wasted.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's circumstances are never going to be perfect, no matter where you are.
You know what's kind of cool though, with everything that's going on, we may see a lot more of those smaller, more intimate weddings coming up, which could end up being a positive. We may get like more intimate time with them, cooler moments, things like that. If you're not into the New Jersey wow thing, which I think is real.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Let's kind of talk about that. So like, we're all in the same boat as far as like your wedding schedule next year is filling up, but it's
making money. You're rebooking.
Yeah, you're rebooking.
Yeah, 100%.
I would think, like most of us are.
Yeah, we're having issues with that because people are like, oh, how about Labor Day, Monday, Labor Day, this, that, or like Columbus Day. And I'm like, or Thanksgiving weekend. I'm like, you guys not realize like we have families too. Like we don't want.
So how realistically are you guys dealing with that as far as like, questions for you guys?
Turn the question on you now.
Oh, we were just incepted. I love it.
Right. So I'm not seeing issues in this because moving from video to photo, and I specifically took this year as like a building year, so I took far less weddings. I'm not seeing a ton of issues, but I am seeing it from friends of ours who I had like 4 weddings to go to this year, which is interesting. Right. So like typically I'm not going to weddings as a guest. I'm going to shoot. This year I've seen 4 people, and we've had friends asking us, hey, my makeup artist has charged me an extra $300 to rebook next year because the date. And I'm like, so I just go like, hey, you guys talk about it. I can't have an opinion on this because I'm not in the situation. I don't know what their business is set up like. I don't know what to tell you. That's just how they're doing it. So you kind of got to go with it. If that's,
Are you guys one of those people that like, is like, oh, you should just do the right thing? And
what are we talking? Are we talking about schedule wise, or like, are we talking about actually charging fees and stuff like that?
Yeah. Like charging fees or.
So schedule wise, I can, I just had my first triple reschedule, which really sucks, as in they're now planning their 3rd wedding date. Because venues in the beginning, right, were given these early March dates, or no, I guess it was late March, right? Early April dates. They were giving them like June dates. And now I don't know how you guys are doing it right now, but my summer is like completely crumbling right now, all the way through August. And that ended up happening because one of our favorite venues, I won't say who they are, but right here by me, they sent out an email a couple of days ago that was like to all their summer weddings that was like, look, you need to reschedule because we will not have a 2021 date available for you if you don't reschedule now. Yeah. And it wasn't like them forcing them. It was true. They book up years in advance.
I know you, I think you messaged me.
They're just being honest
about it, but yeah, just being honest. Like,
and for them, it was one, I guess we could bleep it, but it's, so like they're spending a lot on their wedding. So it was almost more like they're protecting their investment. Like, hey, you guys are not spending a little bit. Like, if you don't want to get married in 2022, you got to rebook now. So I basically lost most of my summer. I was super excited. I think it was like July. I was shooting there 8 times in 1 month. I'm like, yeah, this is great. This is the year. And COVID was like, not this year, buddy.
Not today, motherfucker.
So for me, I'm rescheduling them. Like, I'm not charging a fee. I'm letting them go to 2021. I do have certain dates, obviously, I have every year that like I'm just not going to do. Like, for example, 4th of July weekend for us is pretty impossible here. And it's not even like that I don't want to work because I'm going to go to a barbecue. No, traffic is so bad here that I can't. Like, we can't leave our town.
Okay, so for me, like, not to get weird or anything, but
get weird.
From a drunk driver, and I have this thing, we just don't like to drive on, I don't like to drive on weekends where we know there's going to be a ton of drunk drivers out.
Right.
New Year's Eve.
We any New Year's Eve wedding,
I don't like Black Friday, believe it or not. I don't like Labor Day, and I don't like 4th of July. I'm not into those dates, and like I've had 4th of July like pushed out on me how many times? Yeah. How about this date? How about this date? How about this date? I'm like, no, I refuse to work that date because there's going to be tons of people out on the road that are driving, and we're coming home at the most vulnerable time of night.
Yeah.
Yep.
One thing that bothers me is that, especially in our groups, is that people, like, if you even talk about it, they associate it with like sharing bad information or stressing people out. And it's like,
Fear
yo,
posts and shit
like,
too.
we're in these groups to talk about photography, and one of the biggest threats to like our industry right now is this. Like, so the idea that we're not even talking about like, hey, what are you guys doing about it? Like that, everybody's feeling this way, but everyone doesn't want to show it. Like they all want to show like, no, I've made so much money that nothing's gonna hurt me. Like,
So
that's not true.
I
Like
don't
this is
mind the
even
post.
wait, Ted, I wasn't done.
Sorry,
This is
sorry.
even hurting Disney. Like Disney is losing $1 billion a month. Like if that company is feeling that bad, all of us are feeling bad. Like,
and also a lot of the companies that it's hurting in our industry are like the companies that are even just slightly bigger than us, like hiring 4 or 5 people that they have to kind of figure out how to keep on payroll or not keep on payroll.
yeah.
Like it's really kind of throwing a monkey wrench in everybody's shit right now. So,
And not to be insensitive, but like those are the people that like to flex their muscles the most during all the years, right? And tell you how much money they make. And then
We're gonna lose venues.
they were going strong for a couple of weeks, and now they're starting to retreat because I think they're afraid to say that, like, hey, listen, we're stressed out right now. Like
we're gonna lose venues from this, if not entire venue chains.
Well,
You know what I mean, it's definitely gonna be an impact. And I, even in my day job, I'm trying to tell people like, hey, this is not business as usual.
right.
When we go back, it's not going to be business as usual. You have to adapt and change.
I would put marriage up there in the real life things that are happening in people's lives that, most people don't think about. Like there's people that are sick or in hospitals who need like special care, or,
Yeah.
you have to deal with relatives who passed away in this whole thing. Like there's kind of real things that are going on, and we all kind of have to navigate them. But unfortunately, our jobs are intertwined with that. So
Yeah.
Sorry, our cat.
On another side note,
laptop from the wall.
So this is just a super like vet on my part. Anyone who's ever played an apocalyptic video game of any kind gets freaked out when you go into ShopRite and you hear this super happy, positive voice say, "Hey, wear your masks or you're gonna die." Like it sounds exactly like a video game where you're like going through waiting for zombies to jump out of a closet, and there's like this like they forgot to turn the electricity off in this abandoned building, and you hear this voice over the intercom talk about shit.
Yeah.
It's exactly like that going to a grocery store right now, and I'm like, please stop! I just need eggs. Please go away.
It'll all work out, right? Something's gonna happen, and we'll just have to adapt.
It will or it won't, and you'll adapt and change. There's nobody on the screen right now that doesn't have the capability of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Ted, no, I'm kidding.
As much as he won't want to, he will.
Listen, I'm just saying we're missing a golden opportunity to wear Halloween costumes every day if we have to go out. Like we should be doing this.
Yeah.
Well, I have the apocalyptic face mask thing.
Next week, I have to stand up in front of a class of students and teach with a face mask and gloves on the whole time for 8 hours straight.
That's
Never done that. Never done that before. It's gonna be super fucking weird.
Why did you do that?
Because it's essential work. I have to teach to keep the lights on. No, so I teach people, I qualify people to do work at a nuclear power plant. So because they have to work and they are required by federal regulations to get this training, we have to give the training so they can go keep working in the plant and keep the lights on.
Mm.
Can you film and like keep yelling at them?
I won't yell at any of them. They're all it's sometimes, but Karmapants. Where did it come from? Why Karmapants? I have to know.
Oh no, this is your story.
No, it's
Stop tongue kissing that dog and tell me.
I know the story because she told me.
I know it.
So the story basically came from, this is back in the 90s. Jen had to make an email address to get a job.
I can stop this video. That's what's going to happen next.
we need a penalty box. That's what we've been saying. Where I can
actually put him in the waiting room.
I saw that. You can split them.
The fucking best.
Jen
All
had
right.
an email address in order to get a job because that's what you had to do back in the day. It was like a business card. So she basically, she looked down at her pants and was like, nobody's going to hire me because these pants are so dirty, like bad karma, and came up with the name Karmapants for an email address. It was as simple as that.
Yeah.
Get out.
So she made Karmapants at Yahoo.
Yes.
Very insecure.
Yes.
Name Yahoo. So fast forward years later, we met up with a friend at the tattoo convention in Philly, and he's like, "Oh, hey, is your email address still Karmapants?" But we realized it was like, all right, that's very easy to remember, so why not just keep that as the business
It was
name?
like as simple as like how easy it was for people to remember.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
My mother was ashamed.
I mean, it's really not a great story, but
She was ashamed by. Thank you. That's my story. Thank you.
Mhm.
What's your story? How did you come up with Colin?
It was a old Irish Antioch. Look up Antioch.
I know
know
what Antioch means.
I just made it up.
No, there's something to that though, for sure, with the name being easily recognizable and something like that. Like, I'm dog shit at names. I'm serious. Like, if I'm second shooting, that's like my like worst situation where I go like, okay, what are the names of the bride and groom today? Like, it's like a really hard situation for me to remember everything.
I called a groom Antpar. What did I call him? Antpar? Like the entire day, and finally he's like, "My name is Chris," and I was like,
Dope.
Yeah.
We're like, that's a shitty name. Antwar's better. There's a guy who came on this podcast, Damon Bilger, and I worked with him for 3.5, 4 years. Like, not a lot, but like once or twice a year. I had known him for a while. We'd been friends. We talked, and he came on, and I go, "Hey, we got Damon Bilger on the wedding." He's like, "It's not Bilger, it's Bilger." He corrected me 3 years after I had known him. I've been calling the same thing for 3 years. He corrected me on the podcast. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me right now? Why didn't you tell me?" He's like, "I don't know." It was funny. I'm terrible at names. But yeah, Karmapants fucking stuck out immediately. That's brilliant. That's really good. And it may be
brilliant.
an easy thing that happened, but that's great.
Did you hear him? He said it's brilliant.
I just drew a Stussy on this paper. Do you guys remember Stussies? What happened to those?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Stussy? Like the hat?
Stussy?
Like that S thing that people used to draw. That thing.
No, okay.
Stussy.
Oh, it's Stussy? I used to call it Stussy.
It's the thing that nobody knows where it came from.
Mispronunciation
Where did
episode?
that come from?
I have
one
no
knows.
idea.
No. There's a whole thing on how nobody knows where that actually originated from.
There was a store in Medford, New Jersey called Bad Boy Club that used to sell like surfer gear and skateboard gear, and like Stussy hats were like thing.
Yeah, we drew it on fucking everything.
Everything.
Trapper keepers, binders.
Yes.
Pronunciation episode.
What?
Mince pronunciation.
Stussy.
I didn't know it was Stussy. I thought it was Stussy. I don't know why.
Bless you.
All right. Guys, it was so awesome having you on this podcast. Seriously, it really got some awesome information. If people want to find you, where could they find you online, not in person?
www.
Karmapants.
Actually, Karma is a bitch. Karmaisabitch.com.
I love it.
Okay, buddy.
So that was www.karmaisabitch.com. And what about Instagram?
And or just Karmapants.
Karmapants.com. Nice. And same thing on Instagram?
Instagram / Karmapants.
Sweet.
Karmapants.
Karmapants